Thank you, Loraine, for agreeing to read this out for me today. Please read it all, I insist. I first came across Loraine on the internet, inevitably. It was the early days of COVID, and Loraine responded to a message about Status Now for All, which had been initiated in March 2020, and that I had introduced onto a 4 UK nation Google group. Loraine had written a very clear and concise article that had been published in The Bear UK on the 20th of April 2020 about the need for amnesty for all immediately and in response to the Covid SynDemic. When we spoke on the phone, I was enamoured of her, so clear, so calm, so quietly confident. When you combine those qualities in her with her profound understanding of what the asylum system is, viscerally, as well as bureaucratically, as well as publicly, as well as ideologically, you find a compound in her that is brighter than gold, harder than steel, and with more amalgamating powers than mercury. She gathers people together and she sticks it out with them. Now, Loraine is Status Now for All's co-chair. She is fearless too. I remember the day after we first spoke, she posted an acute question onto that 4 UK country Google group. Her question exposed some of the refugee sector's big players who were trying to control, contain, and even diminish the drive for action that was growing at the time by the people living at the hardest end of the COVID lockdown. Not only is she fearless, she is compassion on legs. She's extremely beautiful to look at, and she sounds divine. Now you know why I insisted she promised to read all of this. I'm very much looking forward to watching the digital version of this event, and am only sorry that I cannot be with you today. There is a Serco hotel resident here in Greater Manchester who is now on day 24 of his hunger strike against the inhumane and degrading treatment being experienced by himself and so many others in Home Office contingency accommodation. Just today, we learn of a death in Manston through diphtheria. Please allow me to take this opportunity to invite you to subscribe to the RAPAR website, where you will be able to get updates about this hunger strike. This work has reached the national news media, and we hope that it will be covered again next week on national news television. The fact that I cannot be with you today because of this, combined with the lack of trains because of the rail workers' strike, is a microcosmic representation of the state of flux that we now live within in the UK. My most intense hope is that between us and through our work together, we succeed soon in dismantling the barriers that still exist between the workers and their families who do not have status in the UK and the workers and their families who do have that status. Through doing that, dismantling that barrier, we can become the 99% in practice as well as theory. The 99% in whose interest it is to get rid of the systems of global capital that perpetuate all the forms of inhumane and degrading treatment that exist around the world. Loraine is one of our leaders in this endeavour, and the fact that at the same time as so tirelessly working for justice, she has unleashed her creative juices to produce the poetry in this collection is a truly extraordinary achievement. One of my professors was a man called Reg Revans. He was a theoretical physicist, and he was on the team under Rutherford at the Cavendish laboratories that split the atom. When he saw the uses to which his science was put in the form of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he walked away from academia. He founded the discipline of action learning, a discipline that informs so much of what I do now. I was extremely fortunate to have sat and talked with him at length on a number of occasions during the final years of his life. One of the phrases that he wrote is an eternal truth. Participation is the child, not of power, but of communal need. Let me say it again. Participation is the child, not of power, but of communal need. The way Loraine works means that people who never before could become able to participate in finding their own solutions. The way Loraine writes poetry takes me inside her emotions and helps me to uncover my own, so I emerge with new feelings about who I am, what I can do to make things better, and who I want to do that with. And that's you. Thank you, Loraine.